Having a first aid kit in your car is super important. So this week's video, we are reviewing the MyMedic AutoMedic first aid kit. Chances are we are all going to either witness a car accident or be in a car accident ourselves, which is why I think having a medical kit in your car is so important. Now this week, like I said, we are reviewing the MyMedic AutoMedic, which is their collaboration with Popular Mechanics. I don't really know anything about Popular Mechanics except that it was a really cool magazine when I was a kid. So they put this kit together specifically for your car. You guys will know if you've watched this channel for any period of time, I have done several reviews on MyMedic products, and there are a lot of things I like about these guys and a lot of things I don't. So first off, in the things I like is MyMedic has been doing a great job in kind of making med kits mainstream. Their marketing department is phenomenal, and their website's really clean, easy to navigate. You can get a lot of different things for medical supplies. However, where the controversy comes in are some of the supplies on the inside, and we're gonna get into that right now. So this kit here is a stormproof kit. It looks and feels waterproof, but they say it's stormproof and they say the zippers are water resistant. So I wouldn't be submerging this. However, if it gets in a rain or you're off-roading in your Jeep and some water comes up on the floorboards, I don't think this will be an issue. It's gonna keep your supplies safe. Now on the outside, you do have these straps here. I don't really know how sturdy these are. However, you can secure tourniquets or other supplies to the outside of this kit if you're looking to keep the bleeding control supplies on the outside. That's kind of what I'd recommend doing, to be completely honest. So it's got a tag on it that tells you everything that comes with it, and also their website has a neat tool where you can hover over every little module that's in here. It'll tell you exactly what's on the inside. So coming to the inside of the kit, now you'll notice it bound up a little bit there. Zippers are fine though, honestly. I don't think the case itself is really going to break or do anything you don't want it to do. So here we have all of the contents on the inside of the kit, and you've got these little markers that are placed over it. I didn't change this at all since I got it. I just looked through it quickly. And you have all these little markers that kind of tell you what's in each space. Now, some of this is useful, some of this isn't. For instance, like I assume that this is like a hydration mod. I'm not entirely sure what this pink marker is. So you have to actually know what these are. It's not intuitive. Like, all right, we've got a hiker here. Is that like blister pack? Is that sting mod? I'm not quite sure what that means. Now I assume that this guy means blood. I assume this guy means there's some medicine in there, probably a burn, hypothermia prevention, but I wish they were a little bit more standardized, a little bit easier to read, to be completely honest with you. All right, so getting into some of the contents. One of the main controversies with MyMedic is this guy right here. So for those of you that don't know, MyMedic actually bought out Rats and they rebranded it to the Rapid Tourniquet. Although I did see on their website that they went back to naming it Rats. I assume that's because these things have a cult following for some reason, and they wanted to appeal to their old audience. So this is supposedly a tourniquet. You guys know my feelings on Rats tourniquets. I don't think they're good at all. Now, will they work to control bleeding in a lot of cases? Absolutely. Are they the best thing on the market? Absolutely not. So this is a tourniquet you place on your arm or your leg. You're gonna loop this guy through, and then you're going to basically wrap it multiple times over and lock it in this cleat. Inferior to CO, TCCC recommended tourniquets. They come off with patient movement in my experience. This elastic band is really hard to apply and grip when your hands are bloody or wet, anything like that. Now, fanboys of this will say that, oh, it's great for dogs. Well, Canine TCCC or Canine TECC recommends the SWAT T. And I say, well, it's great for kids. Well, kids usually just need an elastic wrap really tight around the arm, and that's going to work just fine for them because they have much lower occlusion pressures because their blood pressure is a lot lower than adults. So really, I don't have much of a use for this guy here. Some other issues with it, it's got really high occlusion pressures. It causes a lot more pain. It's not quite as intuitive to use. It had some shady marketing when it first came out, but that's kind of been rebranded. So carry something. I guess this is better than nothing, but honestly, I can't recommend these at all. I keep these to demo a bad tourniquet, really. So I wish MyMedic would get rid of these, and I wish they would start putting in some more evidence-based tourniquets in their kits. But this is what comes with the AutoMedic, and that's really my main concern with the kit is that. Now, that is really easy to replace. What I would do if I bought this kit, because I like the form factor, I like everything else it comes with, I would just take like a cat tourniquet, soft T wide, TX3, whatever you want, and throw it on the outside of the kit. But I do think there's also room on the inside if you did want to keep it all contained. So not the end of the world. It is something you can replace for relatively cheap. Now, coming into this a little bit more, we're just going to go to this side here. We've got the clean and prep mod. Now, these mods are something I really like that MyMedic does. They're kind of cool, and honestly, I will get these for, you know, a backpacking trip or something if I need something very specific. Comes in these really, really tight packages that say everything that's in them. So this guy here, let's see what we got. We got some antiseptic towelettes in here for, you know, who knows, just hygiene in general. And then we have some, what do we have here? We've got some hand sanitizer and some other packets. And then we have a iodine prep pad towelette. So everything it says it is. It's clean and prep mod. So it's to prep wounds. It's to wash your hands, get a little bit more hygienic if you're out on the trail in your car and you just need something really quick. So that's kind of cool if that comes in there. Now, all of these are modular. There's Velcro backing. So if you don't like the placement of one of these, you can throw it in there. If you want to take that out, say, put this guy in here, there's plenty of room for a better tourniquet if you really wanted to on the inside of this kit. All right, now coming to this side of it. Now this is the one with kind of the mysterious markings we were talking about earlier. In here, on the top, we have, let's see, the treatment and relief mod. So I was looking on their website a little bit. There's a lot in this pack and a lot of useful things, to be completely honest. So if we come in here, it's really packed to the brim. Like I said, I love these mods, and these are one of the things that I really, really like about MyMedic, and I think they're doing really well with these mods. So here we've got the sting relief pads, the ammonia towelette, we've got the lip balm here, I've got some cream, anti-chafe cream, and then here's your sunscreen and your oral pain relief. I've never used these oral pain relief gels, but I can imagine if you got a toothache on the road, it would probably be a lifesaver, especially with kids. And then your triple antibiotic and your white petroleum. So I assume that's Vaseline for it. So a lot of things in that guy here, and I'm just making a mess on the floor in my studio, throwing all that down there. All right. Okay, so I was wrong. This apparently is not hypothermia prevention because I just pulled this guy from here. This is just a space blanket. So space blankets are for hypothermia prevention. You need to insulate with this, but it is something that's super important. You know, if you're stuck in your car on I-70 in Colorado, you know, this is gonna come in handy probably if you don't have the fuel to keep it running. So this is a very thin blanket here, and it's just gonna reflect the heat back into you as long as you have some insulation as well on top of it. So full-size space blanket there. It's not like the highest quality space blanket, but obviously a kit like this is a compromise between your space saving and functionality. So I think they did a good job of kind of balancing that there. All right, a little bit deeper, mini gauze mod. So this is something I'd probably use relatively regularly in here, and that's what I like about these kits is it goes from your kind of life threats down to your really minor bleeding, where a lot of like car kits, I know especially like overseas, the car kits that come with the car, they don't come with major bleeding supplies. This one does, and it goes all the way down to your really minor ailments, so that's kind of cool. Now this isn't the major bleeding supply part, just in case anybody misconstrued that. These are a lot of different gauze pads. So you've got your 4x4, you've got your non-adherent pads here, which are a little bit more heavy duty, and then you have your 2x2s to meet a lot of different needs for your, you know, lacerations, cuts, scrapes that need more than Band-Aid, but not quite as much as like a compression wrap or a tourniquet or wound packing, anything like that. And then in here, we've got a little thing of cling wrap. So this is just roller gauze that you can throw on and get one of these tight on the wound. Now this does have a little gauze pad, so I suppose if you got a small wound, you could put this over there and wrap it by itself without any kind of other gauze on it. All right, moving on in the same thing, we have a compression bandage. So this is actually like a compression bandage for a little bit more serious bleeding. All right, now I'm seeing an issue with this is that these tabs here on either side are supposed to be easy open. They're not. So I did that and it's not even getting me into the packaging. So that's kind of aggravating because when I see red on the outside of a package, I automatically assume it's somewhere to open it. Now these two on this end have it and it'll work okay, but in a stressful situation, that might kind of hang you up. So I apologize. This is actually packing gauze in here. So you can use it as a compression dressing, but this will be for packing a junctional site. Obviously, gold standard is going to be a hemostatic agent, but for cost saving, this is going to work pretty good. And I carry this kind of thing on me all the time without it being a hemostatic agent. I wouldn't worry about that too much. So this is for packing your junctional sites, base of the neck, your armpit, and your groin. And it's really tightly packed in there. So you've got a lot of gauze here, plenty to address these wounds. Now, one thing I will tell you about these guys, and it's no different than any other manufacturer, so it's not a huge dig on them or anything. They say these kits are built in America, but a lot of these supplies will come from overseas and then they assemble them in the United States. So don't think that all of these are made in-house in their factory. If that does affect your decision to buy it or not. And then in here, we've got a bandage pack. So this is like your Band-Aids and stuff. And now some of these really minor items, these small things, are subject to change. Like with supply chain shortages and stuff, like every other manufacturer, they're going to kind of shop around and get you something in the kit as opposed to just not selling it. So if some of these minor items change, don't be surprised if you picked something up. So here we just have, like, these are just Band-Aids. That's all that's in here. You've got like some fingers, some knuckle, Band-Aids. You've got some bigger ones, some smaller ones, all the way down to your like normal size Band-Aids. And honestly, I don't think there's anything that special about them. This just says 4 1x3, 2 2x4, 2 fingertip bandages, 2 knuckle bandages, and 2 knee elbow bandages, all in this little kit. So that's what comes in this guy. I'll be honest, I still don't know what we're looking at here for the hiker and this bottle. I'm not entirely sure what those two are. Over here, we have a saline rinse. This is an eye rinse. It can be a wound rinse, something good to have. Just be aware it's going to freeze in the winter if you leave this in your car for any period of time. So this is something that you might want to consider taking inside if your car is not parked in a temperature-controlled area. But it's also, if it freezes and it thaws and it freezes and it thaws, it's not that big of a deal most of the time. Now, I don't think that packaging would have an issue of expanding and popping, but sometimes that can be the issue you run into, and then it's just a mess at that point. All right, we've got a glow stick. This is something that you can do for signaling. You can put on a string, wave it over your head. You can mark a casualty, an entrance, a direction of travel, or you can use it as just a little bit of light in your car if the power's gone out and you don't have anything else. Is it super necessary? No. Is it nice to have? Absolutely. All right, a little bit farther. We're getting through. We're almost to the other side. So here we have the mini tools mod, and I think this is really cool. Kind of a diagnostic pouch. Obviously, some of these things take a little bit more training to use to actually be like useful to you, but I guess the same could be said for pretty much every piece of equipment in there. So in this guy, we've got some tweezers, fine tweezers. Nothing really to say about those. A whistle, which is really important for signaling. Obviously, you don't need that much training for a whistle. I hope you know how to use it. And then we've got a pen light for, you can visualize certain things in small areas, but really these are for pupillary responses on both your eyes. And then you've got a little pupil gauge here with the millimeter marking on the side. I still don't ever document the millimeters on pupils to say, they're pearl. Pupils equal and round, reactive to light, all of that. So that goes in that mod, kind of a cool little diagnostic kit. All right, so getting into this side now. I hope I'm still in frame. I am. All right, this is super cool, and I love these things. Now, this is a window punch. It should be a little bit more accessible in here because this is something when you need it right now. And essentially, it is a seatbelt cutter, and it is a window punch. Be aware that some modern cars do not have windows that will actually break with these guys, but most cars are going to work just fine. This is for rapid egress, or if you have to get to somebody in a car, Taking your fist, banging it on a window, like even like the billy clubs that cops will come up and try to break windows, sometimes it works, but most of the time you need a different tool to get through that. And that's where these tools come in. So if this is buried in the kit, where this comes in handy is going to be getting somebody else out of a vehicle. So, you know, their car light's on fire. You've seen those videos, people trying to get in the windows. This is a way you can easily break in and make that happen. On the flip side, if you are using this for egress from your car, which I'd recommend, I'd take this and put this somewhere within arm's reach of the driver in the car so they can reach over, grab it. This will disconnect from the keychain and you can use it in a pinch to get yourself out of the vehicle in a moment's notice. So super important to have, and it's really cool that they include this in the car kit. I forget the name of it. I'll try to put it up on the screen for what it is specifically to give that company credit, because I don't think it's a MyMedic product. All right, so in here we've got a medication mod. And once again, this is something you're gonna have to look at expiration dates in it. I don't believe this does not have an expiration date on the outside, which I wish they would put in there because that would make it a lot easier to tell when one of these medications is expiring, making sure I'm not telling you wrong. No expiration dates. Now, an expired medication will work a long time. Like I think they found that Cold War aspirin is still good today, but still, I'd rather have medication that's not expired. So in here we have all kinds of over-the-counter meds, from everything from pains, headaches, migraines, to diarrhea. You have a little bit of everything, and they're all individually packaged in these guys. You got aspirin, which is a great thing to have for, you know, chest pain, meclizine, you know, I'll leave a list on the screen here, but a lot of different over-the-counter meds you can get in this little thing here. So it actually says the list right on the back, and it's really easy to look at. Now, once you open these, obviously they're open, but all of these bags are resealable, which is kind of nice. I'd recommend going through them if you can at all. Next up in the pocket, we have a vomit bag that's a little bit snarky. So it's a Think Happy Thoughts vomit bag, bright yellow. It is paper, but it's got kind of a wax coating on it. So hopefully it's going to keep your vomit in the bag for a prolonged period of time. And then of course at the top, you've got a thing to roll down and seal it. Now, I wouldn't just like leave this everywhere. This is gonna be kind of a gross thing. So, you know, I'd roll that down and I'd find a trash can as soon as you can. But it's good to have, especially if you've got friends that are car sick a lot or your driving sucks. Good thing to have a vomit bag. All right, some gloves buried in the kit. Now, if you're gonna have gloves, keep them on the outside. You know, I'm not huge on gloves for kits like these. It's something that's good to have, but you absolutely don't need them if your skin on your hands intact, but it is best practice to always wear PPE. So nothing special about these guys, easy to rip. I'd love more than one pair in one of these baggies, because I can't tell you the number of times on the ambulance or helicopter I throw one on and they rip right away and I need to get a whole nother set before I've even started on the call. All right, so these guys here, Zips. It's their proprietary thing. I've never used one in the real world. I have no idea how they actually work, but it's basically their answer to steri strips. So in here, we've got these guys, and the theory is you take like a cut that's across a hand or anything like that, you put them on either side of the cut. Hopefully you can see that there. And then you're going to pull them together. I don't even know how to really pull them together. There you go. Pull them together, and it's going to hold that cut together while it heals. You can cut the ends of these off. You have 2 of them in there, so if it's a big long cut, you can put 2 of them there. I would recommend taking like a Tegaderm or something over it to just protect that wound even more, and probably seek prompt medical attention. But if you're in the backwoods, if you're on a B road in your Jeep or whatever it is, this is an option for you. I will say that it's not that sticky. Maybe it'll get more over time, but just holding these on, I can like take that off, and I have some hair and it's all intact and stuff. So I'd like to see these a little bit more sticky. But if any of you guys have experiences with these and using them in the real world, leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. All right, and we're getting through this, guys, I promise. We've got a first aid survival guide, so kind of cool. And it kind of tells you how to tie certain things, elevations, snow caves. Now, I wouldn't be building a snow cave if you don't really know what you're doing, because that's a recipe for disaster. But there are some really cool pieces of advice in there. Whatever you have, it's all color-coded and easy to navigate to on the front page. So there's an option for you. And when you have a second, I think that's a good resource if you're really kind of at a loss of what to do. Mini trauma shears. These trauma shears will work once or twice, and then they're going to get dull. So for a kit like this, I think these are absolutely appropriate and are going to do just fine for you. All right, coming down a little bit more. I assume this is the burn mod because it's got the little fire thing on it. We've got burn gel. Now, this is usually something I remove from most of my kits because burn gel is not going to be the difference between going to the hospital or not going to the hospital, or disfiguring yourself or not. It's something that can help with some pain relief, but ultimately, I don't use it a whole lot. Now, it is something in there, you know, you burn yourself on a tailpipe or doing something, you know, around the campfire stupid. It's something to have. It's going to help with some burn relief there, but it's not going to be the difference between life and death for you at all. All right, and last but not least, I get what this is. This is going to be your CPR shield. So I guess breathing is what that little thing is. So in here, we've got the CPR shield. It's a one-way valve. You put this over somebody's face and then you can breathe into it, and you're not actually just giving a big kiss on the lips, and none of their vomit or puke is going to come back at you. So this is going to go in their mouth, keep it open, and then you blow through there. It says like this side up, all of that. It's a pretty standard CPR shield, something that is definitely good to have for rescue breathing. Know that in CPR, you don't necessarily need a mask like this. A lot of times people are doing compression only, and it's working great for people. Now you can do 30-2 if that's how you're trained. For kids in particular, that 15-2 is important. But for like your overdose or your head injury where they're not breathing but they still have a pulse, rescue breaths are king, and that's what's going to keep them alive. So price on this kit, I was looking at it, and right now, they have it marked from, it used to be $130, and they have it marked down to $69. I don't know if that's a temporary sale. I don't know if that's something that's going to go away and it's going to jump back up to $139. I'd say that $69 feels pretty fair for this kit, to tell you the truth, for what's inside of it. It's not really breaking the bank. You know, for $130, I would expect to see a better tourniquet, an actual compression dressing. I'm a little bit surprised that that's not in here. Just a couple other things in it. All in all, guys, I think this is a cool kit, even though I would change a couple things on the inside. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will see you next week.